Hello everyone, this video is going to be about ancient Egyptian history and all the important people associated with it. Alright, let's jump in. It all started in 3100 BC when King Menes united Upper and Lower Egypt. He wore a double crown to show unity between the two lands. Under his rule, the city Memphis was founded and was the capital of Egypt. The next major period is called the Old Kingdom and was nicknamed the Age of the Pyramid Builders. It lasted from 2686 to 2181 BC and began with the third dynasty of leaders known as pharaohs. Some important events that happened during this period was that the first pyramid was made and the Great Pyramids of Giza were built for the pharaoh Khufu. You can clearly see why it's called the Age of the Pyramid Builders. Over time, the wealth reduced, and the Old Kingdom finally fell into ruin in 2181 BC after King Pepi II died. This is when the first intermediate period started. It lasted from 2181 to 2055 BC. At first, there was a whole lot of chaos and confusion. Civil war between governors, foreign invasions for the Bedouins, and famine and disease all worsened the state of the country farther than it already was. After all the confusion settled down a bit, two different kingdoms arose. One was a line of rulers found in Heracleopolis. The other in Thebes was established with the sole purpose of overthrowing Heracleopolitan power. This period ended when the Theban prince Mentuhotep overturned Heracleopolis. Well, that was a mouthful if I've ever heard one. The next period is called the Middle Kingdom and lasted from 2055 to 1786 BC. This period went a lot smoother than the previous ones. The 12th dynasty of rulers made each successor co-regent or joint rulers, starting with Amenemhet I. Amenemhet III brought the Middle Kingdom to its peak, and its decline started with his successor, Amenemhet IV. Egypt colonized Nubia and repelled the Bedouins mentioned earlier. Queen Sobneferu was the last ruler of the 12th dynasty and was the first confirmed female ruler of Egypt. The following period is called the Second Intermediate Period and lasted from 1786 to 1567 BC. It started pretty rocky with constant succession of kings, and Egypt eventually divided. In addition, a line of foreign rulers called the Hyksos took advantage of unstable times and conquered Egypt. Around 80 years later, the Thebans, who still had control over some of southern Egypt, began a war with the Hyksos and managed to drive them out. The next period is referred to as the New Kingdom and lasted from 1567 to 1085 BC. I mentioned earlier Egypt had been divided, but there was one ruler who reunited it, Ahmose I. Under his rule, Egypt built a huge empire. Later on, Amenhotep IV made Egypt monotheistic, which meant that the Egyptians were expected to worship only one god. In this case, it was the god Aton, another sun god like Ra. Amenhotep IV even gave himself the name Akhenaton, which translates to the servant of Aton. However, when he died, Egyptians switched back to believing in more than one god. Finally, we end things off with the Third Intermediate Period, which lasted from 1085 to 664 BC. Not much happened during this time. Egypt fought with the Assyrian Empire. The ruler of the empire, Esarhaddon, banished the Kushite king ruling Egypt and laid waste to Memphis. Well, that's all for now. Thank you for watching.